Hello everyone, this is Mr. Actor here and welcome to another homework video. Today I'm going to be helping you with your homework, which is all about fractions. We're going to look at how we can compare two different fractions using two different methods. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so for the first homework, you've got a fraction rule, which is what I've got just over here. And I'm just going to remind you how you can use it to help you solve each question. So let's go ahead and write two fractions. We're going to say 2/3 and we're going to say 5/8. Okay, so which fraction is bigger? So let's remind ourselves how we need to do it. We need to go to our fraction rule over here. And we need to first of all find 2/3. Well, let's just go ahead and choose a different color. And let's have a look at 2/3. So this is 1/3 over here. And this is 2/3. So 2/3 will end over here. Okay, as you can see, it's 1, 2. Okay, let's have a look at 5/8. Well, here's our eighths over here. We need 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5/8 ends over here. Which one's bigger? Well, in this instance, we can say which one is longer. Well, you can clearly see 2/3 is longer than 5/8. So therefore, 2/3 is bigger than 5/8. Let's have a go at one more example really quickly. Let's go ahead and write 9/10 and let's write 5/6. Okay, so we've got 9/10 and 5/6. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look at this one now. So 9/10, well, here's our tenths. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9/10 is just over here. And 5/6 are over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5/6 are over there. So which one's longer? Well, 9/10 is obviously longer than 5/6, so 9/10 is the bigger fraction. Now, obviously, what you need to do is make sure you use your fraction rule and make sure you're checking your answers as you go along. Remember, you're looking for the longest line of fractions. That is the biggest fraction as well. Once you have a go at that, remember to make the crocodile eat the biggest number and you're good to go. Right, what we're going to look at now are some more harder examples where we cannot use the fraction rule. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, so here comes the good stuff. What about when you have fractions and you don't have a fraction rule? So let's go ahead and write these fractions first of all. We're going to write 4/10 and we're going to write 9/11. Okay, so we've got two fractions here and we want to compare them. Now, we could in theory use a fraction rule for this, but what about if we don't have a fraction rule? So remember, there's some steps we need to follow. The first step is we need to draw two boxes on either side. We are going to now go ahead and write some equivalent fractions so that we can compare these fractions easily. Now remember, the reason why we can't compare these fractions is very simple. The denominator here is a 10, the denominator here is 11. So in order to compare these fractions, we have to make the denominator the same. If we don't have a fraction rule, that's the only way we can do it. So we need to make the denominator the same, and this is how we're going to go ahead and do it. Let's start by multiplying these two numbers together. Now we did this in class, and we all understood this. So 10 multiplied by 11 is going to be 110. Now remember, whenever we multiply by 10, we can just add a 0 to the end of this number over here. So we're going to write 110. Now we need to write the numerators for each of our equivalent fractions. So remember what we need to do. We need to do 10 times this one over here, and that will give us this numerator. And likewise, we need to do 11 times this one here, and this will give us our numerator over here. So let's go ahead now and quickly just rub these lines out because we remember what we need to do now. And what I want to do is I want to be able to write my inequality in just a second. So let's go ahead and write this first. 10 times 9 is going to be 90, so that fraction is going to go there. And likewise, 11 times 4 is going to be 44. Now, we have written two equivalent fractions. So let's just remind ourselves now. 90/110 is exactly the same as 9/11. They are equivalent fractions. Remember, equivalent, equal. The same for this side. 4/10 is exactly the same as 44/110. And because now the denominators are both 110, we can compare them. So which fraction's bigger? Is it 44/110 or is it 90/110? Well, because the bottoms are the same, we just need to look at the top number. 90 is bigger than 44, therefore this fraction is the bigger fraction. Let's have a go at one more. All right, so let's try a harder example this time. We're going to look at two fractions where we need to do a little bit more work. Let's go ahead and try 23 over 25. And let's try 4 over 5. Okay, so these two fractions are a little bit more trickier to compare, but the method is exactly the same. So the first thing we need to do is draw two boxes. There's one, and there's two. And now what we're going to do is we're going to find a common denominator, and we're going to write our equivalent fractions. So let's remind ourselves what we need to do first. We need to multiply these two numbers here to find a common denominator. So 25 multiplied by 5 is what we need. Now, look at how I've written this. I'm going to use this multiplication method like we've been practicing for a while to help me out. So use the tools that you've been learning to help you solve these questions. So let's go ahead and work this out really quickly. 5 times 5 is 25. The 5 goes there. The 2 goes there. 5 times 20 is 100, plus 2 will be 120, so the answer will be 125. Let's go ahead and write 125, 125. Okay, we're nearly there. Now what we need to do is find our numerators to make equivalent fractions. So let's go ahead and do 25 times 4. 25 multiplied by 4. Now if you can do this in your head, great. If you can't, remember to stick to the method. 4 times 5 is 20, so I'll put a 0 there, and I'm going to carry the 20. 4 times 2 is 8, or 80, plus the 2 is 100, so we're going to just write the 10 there, and the answer is 100. So this will be 100 over here. And likewise, we need to do the same for the other side now. We need to do 5 times 23. So again, I'm just going to write it down, 23 times 5. Whoops, 23 times 5. Ignore the line. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. The answer is 115. Okay, so now we've written two equivalent fractions. We can simply compare them, and we can find out which one's bigger. Well, 115 is bigger than 100. Therefore, this fraction is bigger than this one. And it's as simple as that. Follow the method, and hopefully you should be able to come to the right answer. If there's any problems, let me know, and we'll go through it next week. As always, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for all your hard work this week, and I will see you on Sunday. This is Mr. Akhtar signing out.